You know when you're flying and you're about to land and they get on that little shout out thing and they're like, we know you got a lot of options when it comes to booking these flights. We just want to take this time to thank you for choosing Delta or Spirit if you're Izzy. Well, that's kind of how I feel about Tate's Take. I know there's a lot of Love is Blind review options when you open up your YouTube, and I'll be watching them too. But are they doing it like this? Now I know what you're thinking. Tate done got so big that they're sending him the official Love is Wine Chardonnay for him to review on his channel. No, I paid for this. But one day they will be sending me stuff like this. And it's all because of you guys. So I just want to take this time to thank y'all for flying with Tate's Take. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's try this wine. Y'all want some? All right, welcome to Tate's Take. If you're new here, today we're breaking down the first 6 episodes of the new season 6 of Love is Blind. I've only seen these 6 episodes, and I'm gonna be talking about them like you've seen them too. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular Taste Takers, let's see if we got any VIPs in the pods. Get it? I said VIPs in the pod, like peas in a pod, but I said VI, like 6, the Roman numeral VI, because it's season 6. Never mind. Okay, listen, this is the part of the video where I would normally give you guys some background. I would probably tell you that this show came out back in COVID when we had nothing else to do, and we've been watching it ever since, but y'all already know that. Then I'd probably tell you that this show is produced by Chris Colin, who produces a whole bunch of other reality dating shows, but y'all already know that too. Then I'll probably tell you that Nick and Vanessa Lachey been hosting the show for all 6 seasons, but nobody really like them, but I think you know that too. Wait a minute. Boom! Episode 1. This one's called Higher Love. And since I did my other little cast breakdown video, I don't gotta go person by person on this episode 1. If you're looking for that video, I think it's like somewhere where it'll be popping up. Okay, you know the drill. Episode 1 of Love is Blind is very similar to episode 1 of American Idol. You're gonna get a little bit of a little bit. You're gonna see some people on episode 1 that you ain't never gonna see again. And it's mostly to show you how bad of a singer they are. So I'll just go through some of the headlines here. You know, some of the things that caught my eye. The first thing that I wrote down in my notes is that this season preview is showing a lot. And of course, it goes quickly, but once you get to the end of the 6 episodes and you go back and watch that, you're like, damn, y'all showed a lot. Like, I know they showing it quick, but like Netflix, you don't gotta put all the spoilers in the damn preview. Next thing I wrote down was Nick and Vanessa Lachey are here. That was the whole note. I don't know what I meant by that, but the energy was low. Okay, here go the first real note that I wrote. It's about our buddy Jessica. Jessica's the one who's on Love is Blind while her 10-year-old's back at home making her own dinner. No, I'm just kidding. She tells us that she wants guys to get to know her before she reveals that she has a kid. And would you look at that? We got our first Tate's Take questionnaire. So in the comments, what do y'all think? Do you think it's fair to leave off the fact that you have a kid on the first couple dates? Or do you think it should be revealed immediately? Keep in mind, this isn't normal dating. This is dating on performance-enhancing drugs. So just let me know what y'all think about that. Next thing I noticed is Trevor and Chelsea getting to know each other. And if you watch my cast video, I wasn't so kind to Trevor. And based on what I've seen here, I might owe that man an apology. I'm sorry, Trevor. You still dress terrible, but that's not important. What's important is you seem to be a nice fellow. Anyway, on this date with Chelsea, this is where we find out that they both have named their dogs after each other, which is a cute coinky ding. But I always have a problem when people tell humans that they named their animal after that human. Like, I know these people love their dogs, but like, you know. Anyway, this is also where Chelsea's asking Trevor to name like 5 things that make him happy. Bro, this same dude that I've been calling the meathead with a mullet is naming things like sunsets and butterflies. Who even is this guy? But Chelsea's also making a connection with Jimmy. So we cut over to them and they're already planning their wedding. Cute. Also, does anyone have any idea how he gets his pants off? Please leave a comment. Then Jimmy comes across Jessica, who he also likes. As you may remember, Jessica is our friend with the kid. Jessica sounds like Fran Drescher, and she cries a lot. And we'll get back to those Jessica tears in just a minute. Now she's meeting up with Matthew. He's the one where I said, number one, this dude is rich. Number two, there's a 67% chance he's boring. You may remember this part where Matthew has a list of 15 or so questions, and he tells his dates to pick a number, and then he asks him the question that goes with that. So she picks like 10 or whatever, and he asks the question like any normal human would. Then, also in similar human fashion, she's like, what about you? This freaking cyborg is like, well, actually, I wasn't planning on answering the questions, just asking them. The next scene is so crazy, and look, this might be editing, but if it's not editing, we may have, wait, hold on, let me, it's been a while, hold on, actually I gotta. If this scene isn't editing, we might have our first, oh my golly Wally, moment of the episode. AI Matthew is now on a date with Sarah Ann, and he did the same stupid pick a number question thing. He asked her, what are her short-term goals? Now, was her answer longer than her goals? Yes. But this dude, Matthew, walked out of the pods while she was still talking. Like, he left her in there talking to herself. AI Matthew somehow goes on more dates. First with Amber, then with AD. So far, everyone's been really fed up with the 1.7 firmware edition of AI Matthew. And I guess sometime in between dates, he plugged up and got the 2.0 firmware because he's in there talking to AD, yes, Black Queen AD, about how he's not on the show to become some C-list celebrity, and it's working. And maybe that makes sense because freaking AD's like, honestly, when I see red flags, I just paint my nails red so we can match. Girl, they also spend time talking about their worst fears, and I think AD said hers is having her brains picked out by a flock of birds. Okay. Then she goes on a date with Clay, and this freaking nerd's like, when I came on the show, I just didn't think anyone's gonna like my personality. I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't nothing worse than somebody compliment chasing. Also, is it just me, or does he have a little extra sass in that glass? Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's sassy. We move on to a date between Amy and Johnny, and I think the only thing we get out of this is that Amy tells Johnny that her dad used to beg the people at church to go to her birthday parties. That's crazy. Back over to Jimmy and Jessica. By the way, this dude is giving me Gary Owens energy. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention how loud he blows his nose, and I would also be remiss if I didn't mention how tight he ties his shoes. Now, Jessica's finally going to reveal that she has a kid. How is Jimmy going to respond to this? She freaking tells this dude, and the first thing he says is, how come you didn't tell me earlier? Huh? Not like, how old is she? What's her name? What is she like? How come you didn't tell me? How you made it about you? Huh? It was the complete wrong thing to say. But then he tells her that it's not a deal breaker. But he is lying. Then Jimmy goes on another date with Chelsea. Chelsea's like, honestly, I have something to tell you. This dude, Jimmy's getting all the freaking exclusives today. She's like, I've been married before. And honestly, this freaking girl got married at 18, which, why is that even legal? Why can't I sign my life away to another person at 18, but I can't drink a White Claw? But Jimmy seems to care less about this marriage than he cares about Jessica having a 10-year-old daughter, which makes sense. Usually, an ex-husband is in the past. A 10-year-old daughter is for sure still happening. Then Chelsea goes on another date with her other boo, Trevor. She tells him the same thing about the divorce, and he handles it just like the pro I know him to be. Good for you, Trevor. Over to Clay Aiken, and he's with AD talking about looks. Yes, do not adjust your TV screens. You are still watching Love is Blind, yet Clay needs to know that the person he dates is petite, and he can't move forward without knowing. Bro, are you okay? This guy sucks. We end the episode with AI Matthew, and I can't believe my eyes. This dude's actually being nice. He tells AD that his greatest accomplishment is finding her. What? You see him plugged into the Matrix here getting charged up? Then AD asks him the question of all questions. She's like, how important is race and ethnicity to you? He's like, it's not important to me at all, as long as you're white. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that last part. But he was thinking it. No, I'm just kidding again. He said it's not important at all. And we believe him. But as soon as I started to feel bad for not believing this android, we find out that freaking AI Matthew has been telling Amber the exact same things he's been telling AD. This is the most android thing an android could ever do. I've never been more sure that someone was a robot. Boom, episode 2. This one's called The Hunger Games of Love. We start with Jeremy on a date with Laura, who he smoothly calls Sarah at first. Nice. This date is about how they both like to be clean, and it's just as boring as it sounds. He then actually goes on a date with Sarah, and they're talking about their lives together. He's like, so who moves in with who? Just so you know, I have a 4-bedroom house. What do you have? And she's like, I have a 1-bedroom apartment. Now, this dude Jeremy is a little off to me, but I did respect when he told Sarah he doesn't want to buy a house until he's married, because he wants his wife's opinion on it, and he doesn't want to make her feel like she's just stepping into his space. Like, he wants her to feel like she's part of creating the space, which is very nice. Then we move on to Amy and Johnny. She's getting emotional because she has a brother that's on the spectrum, and she wants to know that they can take him in and like house him in case anything goes wrong with the people that take care of him now. Of course, Johnny's like, yeah, that's fine. We get a little spot here in the women's quarters where AD is telling Alejandra about how AI Matthew is telling her and Amber the same exact things. She's telling Alejandra like, girl, I could just get with Clay, the athlete, the loudest person in the room, like the charismatic one. Alejandra's like, yeah, I guess you could, but he even told me he doesn't think he's a good person. AD's like, yeah, and that's a red flag, but I'm such a fix-a-hoe, I'll just be like, yeah, you can just come practice on me.
What the hell did you just say?
I mean, I gotta respect the honesty here, but girl, you gotta know that you deserve better. The next scene is her on a date with Matthew, and she's confronting him for telling her and Amber the same exact damn thing. And this dude's explanation was giving Vanilla Ice. Let me explain. Remember when they accused Vanilla Ice of like stealing music, and he was like,
ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. That little bitty change. It's not the same.
Matthew is so freaking weird. Plus he talks like Joe from You sometimes. You thought I wanted to marry you. You thought I wanted to leave with you. I did. I didn't tell her those things. Matthew tells AD that if he had to make a decision today, he would choose her. Just remember that. Now AD's back on a date with Clay. She's dancing around the topic of who else she has a connection with. Keep in mind, Clay, as weird as he is, doesn't have any other connections. So he's now all in on AD. He's like, girl, just give it to me straight. Who am I in a love triangle with? AD's like, well, because it's you, then there's me, and then there's a third one. Hold on, this is Matthew. Clay's like, Matthew. It's kind of like in Home Alone 1 when Harry was like, snakes. I don't know no snake. These people don't know about no Home Alone. Then he's like, wait, Matthew, girl, that is not gonna end well. Back at the women's quarters, AD finally tells Amber, look, girl, our man been telling us the same exact shit. Amber's response is to incorrectly use black slang at a moment like this. Slay. Girl, get out of here. Moving on. Somehow, Kenneth and Brittany finally get some TV time. He tells her that he had to plan his mom's funeral all by himself at 12 years old. I mean, listen, who am I to say that he's lying? But like, you know? Anyway, she shares that she lost her dad at 5 years old, so they have that bond. The next part of this scene is very interesting, and you could have missed it, but that's why you come to Tate's Take. And to me, this was the oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. Brittany's telling Kenneth that in the outside world, most people see her as an alpha woman, but truly, she just wants to be led and to be submissive. Now look, this Charlotte cast seems to be just a little bit more religious than past seasons. But this couple in particular is super religious. So the idea of a submissive woman is probably something that Kenneth is very much into. Now, I'm gonna show a clip here, and I can't be showing too many clips because Netflix is gonna come to my house and slap me. But I'm just gonna show a clip here of just how that interaction played out. Just check how Kenneth drooling at the thought of a submissive woman.
The outside world would see me as an alpha male who calls the shots, makes the decisions, but I'm actually the one that wants to be led. I'm the one that...
You heard that? It's like he heard her describing how cheesy her mac and cheese is. She tells him that she's been praying for the day that she could get married and have kids, and have her kids run up to her and ask her something, and she gets to tell them, go ask your dad. Like, you really want your kids to think one parent has more power than the other? So when Kenneth isn't home and you tell your kids, go eat your veggies, they tell you, daddy said I don't have to? That's what you want? Probably a bad example, because I don't think kids should be eating vegetables any damn way. But that's probably just me. The next date is with Johnny and Amy, and Johnny tells Amy that he loves her. This is our first I love you. And I think they've known each other for about 4 days, so that is right on track. On to Jimmy and Chelsea, and this is probably a oh my golly Wally light moment. In true Clay fashion, Jimmy asks Chelsea, does she have any celebrity lookalikes? Chelsea's like, oh yeah, what's that girl's name? She's like married to or like the girlfriend of MGK. Freaking Jimmy's like, hold up, wait, Megan Fox? And we're all at home like, wait, Megan Fox? High key, this dude is going to choose Chelsea and realize that Jessica's the one that actually looks like Megan Fox, but that's a story for another episode. I mean, in Chelsea's defense, she did clearly say it's only because she has blue eyes and brown hair, but this dude is hearing what he wants to hear. Quick date with Trevor and Chelsea, and this day is pretty boring. I wouldn't even be talking about it, but I just have to address the fact that these two say that they sleep with the air conditioner on 65. Immediately no. Immediately no. What are you trying to do? Freeze me on my socks? That's outrageous. What do y'all sleep with y'all AC on? Like team like 74 or 75, right? Back to Johnny and Amy. They don't got no static. They just smooth and they just moving right along. Johnny and Amy are like the San Antonio Spurs of Love is Blind. It's just fundamentals, baby. So Johnny proposes to Amy. He's the first person to propose. She says yes. Okay, back to the drama. Matthew and AD go on a date. He finds out that Amber has gone home. This freaking dweeb has the nerve to tell AD, I really like you, but America's watching. And America loves an underdog. Bro, you got a lot of freaking nerve to be the one person talking about you ain't come on the show to become a C-list celebrity, to then be the only person talking about America watching you. Naturally, he leaves AD to go find Amber. And if I can see into the future, Amber will not like him in the real world. Boom! Episode 3. This one's called Operation Get My Girl Back. Here, we start with the Johnny and Amy reveal. I ain't gonna lie, her outfit was giving Griselda, but besides that, seems to be a nice moment. And they seem happy to see each other. She tells us that she probably wouldn't have gone for him in the real world because she typically likes ethnic men. In this climate, back to the women's quarters, and I'm only here to tell you that Danielle's my favorite person of the whole entire season, and this girl gets no TV time. If you know, you freaking know. Unfortunately, then we go over to Clay, who's fake crying in 4K or maybe 8K if you got one of those new Samsungs at CES. And this nigga's mad stuffed up. Bro, if you don't get some Vicks, Jamal takes this moment to recognize that he ain't getting no TV time, so he decides to make it about himself. He's like, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but because I have tints in my glasses, but I also been crying all day. We get a date with Kenneth and Brittany. Brittany's like, so what ethnicity is your family? He's like, girl, I'm black. And then he's like, I'm guessing yours is white. It's not that funny. It's not a funny moment. I just talk normal. He's like, I guess yours is white. What's wrong with you? She's like, yeah. And he's like, I know. He's like, well, are you comfortable with... She's like, yep. And if people have something ignorant to say, you just correct them and keep it moving. If only the world worked this way. It is adorable. You think that it does. But he tells Brittany that he's a worship leader in the church. Naturally, his next question is if she's smashing before marriage. She tells him that she plans to wait. And he's like, I love that. And speaking of being a worship leader, I know for a fact that not even the Holy Spirit can fit inside those jeans. It's like he made a chastity belt out of denim. Over to a date with Jeremy and Laura. I probably wouldn't be talking about this, but she thinks it's funny that he sleeps in that Bane mask for his sleep apnea. And I think she said she hates Christmas. So now I hate you. Just kidding. But also. Then Jeremy goes on a date with Sarah Ann. She tells him that she feels like her eye is drooping because of her Botox. She goes on to say that she also uses lip filler. It was at this moment where Jeremy knew he wasn't picking her. She goes on to talk about her love of selfies and taking pictures. She references a meme that she saw online where, in her words, a guy is hanging from a tree and the girl doesn't notice it and she's just posing for a picture. Now, it would be irresponsible for me to look too far into this, but the girl did say she's conservative. He asked her how many followers she has on Instagram. She says like 4K, which he finds to be a lot. She then follows up on her own that she has 31,000 followers on TikTok. Luckily for us, she explains that the 31,000 followers she has on TikTok are all just random folks. So I just appreciate her clearing that up, because I wasn't sure how social media really worked, because I thought you had to like personally shake hands with each person that follows you, but I appreciate that. Okay, get serious, because now they have the abortion talk. Freaking Sarah Palin over here is like, well, yeah, I think if you get SA'd or rhymes with graped, you should be allowed to get an abortion. However, if two consenting adults end up pregnant, you got to take responsibility. This is yikes. She says she doesn't think that politics should be in a lot of conversations, which I would say when people say that, they're just not proud of the politics that they believe in. Just my opinion. She goes on to explain that she's just a patriot. And I think hearing that, it's time to hook her up with our boy JP. All right. Heavy moment complete. We are over to Kenneth and Brittany. This dude proposes. She says yes, while crying. Everyone on this show cries a lot. Over to Jimmy and Jessica. This dude is constantly looking at the ceiling. It's kind of like when Drake interviews. Jimmy is like this in every scene. Anyway, the big news here is that 1, she hates knuckle cracking, so me and her can never work out. And then 2, she wants to know about his social media following. She wants to be sure that he's not looking at any other women when he's on the internet. Which, like, sure, your man doesn't need to be on the explore page looking at hotties 24/7. But like, you thinking that you can control what he looks at on the internet? Then he goes on a date with Chelsea and he's kind of apologizing for how he took the divorce news. He's explaining, man, life with you will be so fun. We could go on so many adventures. Translation, that buddy pass gon' go crazy. Then Trevor and Chelsea goes on a date and she asks him, hey, are you worried that you might not like what I look like? This dude Trevor's like, no, it's because I love you. When I tell you this man hasn't missed yet, this is a streak we have not seen before in Love is Blind history. Boom, episode 4. This one's called The Hardest Decision of My Life. And honestly, whatever the decision is, I can imagine that it's not the hardest one you've ever made. But this episode starts off with a very intellectual discussion, the kind of discussion that makes people even go into journalism in the first place. And that's whether or not you should pee in the pool or the shower. The homie Mackenzie is the one that started this discussion. And in case you were wondering, yes, she does both. The girls don't seem pleased with that answer. But I thought we all did both. Okay, moving on to the dates. We got Jeremy and Sarah Ann. She's crying. We got Jeremy and Laura. She's crying. Over to Clay and AD. He brought his Bible to read her a verse. Then he proposes. She says yes, but it's going to take something more powerful than Jesus of Nazareth himself for this to work out. But for now, it's cute. Over to the Brittany and Kenneth reveal. Okay, new hair. She's thinking like, my grandma is going to kill me. Just kidding. Then we got a date with Trevor and Chelsea, and this whole thing is so cute. They're exchanging pet rocks, bracelets, all sorts of shit. I don't know how many apologies one man could owe another man, but here go another one. I'm sorry. Ugh. Then he tells her he wants to take her to a soup kitchen or an animal shelter. Here go another one, man. My bad. Over to this dramatic ass Jimmy and Jessica date. Jessica left him a note that she wrote years ago for her prospective husband. This guy doesn't want to give her the news that she wants to hear. And at the moment, she's pretending it's okay for him to take his time. Also, Jimmy, if you don't cover your thighs. But now she's getting fed up. She tells him he can't handle a strong woman. This dude, Jimmy, tells her, well, I guess he tells the whole world, that he's typically drawn to women that let him lead 100% of the time. Bruh. Jimmy tells Jessica over and over, I'm not saying I love you until I know I mean it. I'm not telling it to you. I'm not telling it to anyone else. About 5 minutes later, he goes on a date with Chelsea and tells her that he loves her. You can add Chelsea's reaction to the list of the other 100 memes that they're going to make of her. Now we get to the Clay and AD reveal. This dude talks nonstop. And I was very surprised that he didn't grab a handful of that thing on the hug. But just when I thought this dude was being extra respectful, he asked her for a 360. No, but honestly, this dude, Clay, talks nonstop. I could see him at his house like, man, let me go ahead and get this coffee on. Man, let me go ahead and fix this bed. Man, let me go ahead and pour this water. Back to the Jimmy and Jessica train wreck, and we got our oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. He tells Jessica, you know, you're going to be an excellent wife for someone else. Holy moly. And you see his shoes are tied up extra tight so you can run out of there more aerodynamically. Sheesh. Now she's blaming him for not telling her. This girl, Jessica, tells Jimmy, bro, when you see what you missed out on, you're going to choke. You're going to need your freaking EpiPen to open up your airways. And she is not kidding. Boom! Episode 5. This one's called She Lied to Me. We're all here waiting to see who Chelsea chooses between Jimmy and Trevor. The world knows who she needs to choose, but the world is a cruel place. She walks into Jimmy's room. Now the whole world's feeling like how 49ers fans was feeling on Sunday night. What a freaking letdown. And girl, get up. High key though, here's my conspiracy theory, and I don't even like conspiracies, but here's one. I feel like she said yes, not so much because she likes Jimmy, but because she got the guy that the hot girl wanted. These things never end well. Now she's got to go talk to Trevor and give him the news. This is the saddest thing on television right now, and if y'all fast forwarded it, I don't blame you. She tells him she's going with someone else. He's like, oh, so you chose the guy that wanted someone else over the guy that only wanted you? Heard. You hate to freaking see it. And he's like, no, don't cry. You didn't do anything deceitful to me. You just love someone more. Or love someone else, period. This isn't over. We will avenge you. In fact, I'm thinking about going on a hunger strike until we get justice for my man Trevor. Over to Jeremy, he's about to break it off with Sarah Ann. And she must feel it coming because she's being passive aggressive AF. This dude doesn't even know what to tell her. He really just wants to say I don't like you that much, or at least as much as the other girl. But he's just rambling. He's like, because sometimes, you know, with me and you, like our banter can be too much. You know what I mean? Brother, I can assure you, she does not know what you mean. Sarah Ann now has to go back to the women's quarters for that awkward ass, you know, when it's that moment where it's like, girl, it's you. Then you gotta like pretend to be happy for the other girl. It's like the Miss America pageant or the Miss Universe when you know how they gotta pretend. Now Jimmy's on his date with Laura. These idiots are talking about, there's 8 billion people in the world. What are the odds that we end up together? I don't know. They're probably pretty freaking good. Y'all live in the same city and apply for the same TV show. Anyway, he proposes. She says yes. Y'all want to talk about odds? What are the odds that this relationship works out? Next reveal, we have Jimmy and Chelsea, and this is the wildest reveal in Love is Blind history, and I'm standing on business. There's so many iconic moments that happen in this scene, and I'm just here to make sure that y'all don't miss any one of them. Number one, this idiot Jimmy's like, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I know Jessica's the one. Wait, Chelsea. Chelsea's definitely the one. Boy, okay, number two, this run, and Netflix, please, I have to show this, just relax.
Oh my goodness.
What in the tarnation? Anyway, they hug and she's like, oh my God, you're so handsome. He's like, oh man, I thought you lied to me. And she's like, about what? And he's like, other stuff? Now, number three is important. Possibly the most important thing you'll hear all day today. And if you're celebrating Valentine's Day with your loved one and they say, I love you, babe. And you say, I love you too, babe. This is more important than that. It's for sure the oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. Now, this is one of my longer videos, and perhaps you're multitasking while you consume this content. Maybe you're even eating cereal. If you are, I would implore you to just put the spoon down just for a second so I can show you the face that this man Jimmy makes when he sees Chelsea. This photograph needs to be in the Library of Congress. And as soon as I finish recording this video, I'll be writing a letter to my state representatives. Listen, if Netflix tells me that I gotta pay extra to see the first time that Jimmy sees Jessica, I'm paying it. But we will get there when we get there. Right now, Jimmy's in the confessional telling us that she lied to him when she said she looks like Megan Fox. But he says he can work with that. First of all, never mind. Actually, okay, I'll say it. The funny thing is, she actually really do resemble Megan Fox. But it's kind of like that Cat Williams skit. Remember that from back in the day with the Chrysler 300 and the Phantom, where the idea is that people with a Chrysler 300, they be saying it looks just like a Phantom. And Cat was like, you know what's crazy? A Chrysler 300 actually do look like a Phantom. Until a Phantom pull up. Yeah, it was, it's kind of like that. Okay, we're out of there. Next reveal, Laura and Jeremy. In true romantic fashion, she tells him that he smells outdoorsy. Excellent. This episode comes to a close and we officially have all our couples locked in. We are headed to the Dominican Republic. Boom, episode 6. This one's called Feeling Uncomfy. We start off with the typical Love is Blind first night together wake-ups. One thing we know for sure is that Laura already hates Jeremy. AD and Clay are talking about counting calories and he's like, babe, I'll never let you get out of shape. Also, does he wear eyeliner? Anyway, she's like, you know one day we're gonna have kids, right? And this idiot's like, yeah, you have to get back right. They get over that conversation, then back to her dealing with her trauma. She says, I feel like I don't deserve love. And he's like, why you say that? And she's like, because I don't have it. Man, poor AD. She's the coolest girl left on the show by far. But you could just tell she's got some textbook demons that she's got to work through. For one, the people that she dates. She seems to be dating the same type of guy and she can't get out of her own way. And here goes Clay, another guy that's exactly the same as what she usually dates. Okay, so now all the couples are finally about to meet each other. But I don't really care about this. Where's Jessica? We're not there yet. But nothing's going to stop Chelsea from doing that T-Rex run. Okay, what are the highlights here? Okay, first thing, boom, the girls are hanging out. Brittany is left without a chair. Kenneth is like, hey babe, want me to get you a chair? These freaking women are acting like he offered her his kidney. The bar is so low. Now the girls are all talking about sex, but since this is the Christian Mingle season of Love is Blind, none of them have done the deed, God forbid. But Chelsea did say she's felt Jimmy's Johnson. There's no way I wrote that. Anyway, this is when she had that out-of-body experience when they asked her how big it was. And I hate that I even have to talk about this, but she described it in, because there's no way. She's probably just exaggerating, right? I got to get out of here. Over to the guys. Jimmy's telling them that he thinks his relationship is the smoothest. Talk about the Lulu. Jimmy is a Hall of Fame gaslighter, but his number one victim is himself. Also a moment of recognition here for the guys that are huddled up talking about taking accountability while the women over there talking about wiener sizes. Grow up, ladies. Now we approach AD gate. This is where Jimmy tells Chelsea that AD is stacked. First of all, white people slang is so funny. Dude, bro, she's so stacked, bro. Chelsea's like, yeah, no, she's a bookshelf. And if you're not familiar with what she means by that, what she's saying is that AD's butt is so big that you could rest a collection of short stories on it as if it was a bookshelf. But Chelsea is getting pretty drunk. You could always tell who's getting too faded because when they be getting extra nice to the bartender. All right, let's get into it. We got the oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. Who would have even predicted this? Who could have predicted this? Nobody. We got freaking Jimmy going over to AD to kind of apologize for the crass comment. Hey, I was just talking to my girl about that ass. I didn't think she'd make an announcement about it. So I'm gonna just come to you and apologize. Cause I don't even know you like that. This girl AD is like, yeah, nah, you good. Wait a minute, hold up. Is Jimmy flirting with her? And is she flirting back? Okay, we might have another photo for the Library of Congress. But does Chelsea have any idea that she created this? Back to AD and Jimmy. They're doing all those fake check-ins. You know those fake check-ins on Love is Blind on that first meetup with the other couples. So yeah, like, how are you and Chelsea? Are your goals aligned? He's like, yeah. Your goals are aligned. She's like, yeah, great. Love her. And he's like, but what's up with you and Clay? Clay's my man. Look at him. What a hunk. She's like, she didn't even say, yeah, he's a hunk. We're going to get back to that because it's juicy. And when I say it's juicy, believe it or not, I'm not talking about that ass. Jimmy sits down with Laura, Amy, and Chelsea. Chelsea hates everything about this, but she's just faded. Over to Kenneth and AD. She's like, have you ever dated a white girl? He's like, nah, no, it's crazy, right? And she's like, well, she knows that she's gonna have to raise black kids, right? You think she can handle that? Girl, I've known Brittany for 10 days. I've known you for 10 minutes. Scram. Okay, on to the next gate, bean dip gate. And I hate that I even have to address this. Apparently, Laura told Jeremy that he should bean dip AD when he sees her. Now, if you're like me, or hopefully 80% of the population, you didn't know what bean dipping was, but apparently it's when you hit someone's boob up and down. High key, it was all dumb. And Jeremy is super immature at times, but this one is all on Laura. But then she wanted to drag the whole thing out, which was so dumb. Like, why not just say sorry and move on? Like, I hate when people just don't get that just because you don't think something's a big deal doesn't mean it's not important to them. And you talking about Jeremy is giving small child? It was your idea. Anyway, it really must be Valentine's Day because we got another gift. This is a bonus, oh my golly Wally moment, and I need to make sure y'all didn't miss this one. Because the way Jimmy's eyeballs were glued on that 80 dump truck, this is why we pay for Netflix. This is why we pay a premium. The prices go up every year, and I'm like, do y'all want more? I could pay more. No, because look at this. Really look at this. How does Netflix catch this man continuously with the most guiltiest of looks? You are not slick. Just no discretion whatsoever. I mean, I get it. This man has probably never seen anything like that a day in his life. And that thing is thangin'. But bro, you got a new fiance right around the corner. Anyway, the episode comes to a close with Chelsea picking a fight with Jimmy about this whole AD thing. She wants us to believe that Jimmy commenting on AD's butt made her uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that you co-signed it and ran up to her to tell her that your man made said comment? Okay. So uncomfortable that when he said it, he was like, my bad, I shouldn't be talking about this. And you said, babe, you can talk about anything. She's stacked. That uncomfortable? One of these days, people are gonna go on Love is Blind and realize that the cameras are not for decoration. Boom, and that's episodes 1 through 6, and the preview for the rest of the season just as steamy as I thought it would be. Sheesh. Man, that's a lot of episodes, and a lot of things are happening, and I'm appreciative of you guys for sticking to the end of the video. Man, I'll be back next week to talk about episodes 7, 8, and 9, but what a ride. Oh, let me do my little ending thing. As always, thanks for checking out Tate's Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. In the comments, it's a free-for-all. Number one, I got to be missing someone with Trevor. This dude is the nicest guy maybe in the history of the show. AD is super cool, but she is just looking for trouble. What do y'all think about Bean Dip Gate? What do y'all think about that? Chelsea, Jimmy, the most stable relationship? Was he flirting with AD, or was I seeing something different? Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace. Man, it is. It's gonna be one of them ones. Oh, and then freaking when Jessica comes, boy. I'm pretty sure that Jessica and Jimmy, even though Jimmy played her, she's gonna forgive him. Clay and AD, I wouldn't have expected AD to be feeling Matthew and fucking Jimmy, but damn, random.